Arrgh, this be Aztec gold. One of 882 identical pieces they delivered in a stone chest to Cortez himself. Blood money paid to stem the slaughter he wreaked upon them with his armies. But the greed of Cortez was insatiable, so the heathen gods placed upon the gold a terrible curse. Any mortal that removes but a single piece from that stone chest shall be punished for eternity. Aye, that's exactly what I thought when we were first told the tale. Buried on an island of dead what cannot be found except for those who know where it is. Find it we did. There be the chest. Inside be the gold. And we took 'em all. We spent 'em, traded 'em, frittered 'em away on drink, food, pleasurable company. The more we gave 'em away, the more we came to realize the drink would not satisfy. Food turned to ash in our mouths, and the pleasurable company in the world could not slake our lust. We are cursed men, Miss Turner. Compelled by greed we were, but now we are consumed by it. There is one way we can end our curse. All the scattered pieces of the Aztec gold must be restored, and the blood repaid. Thanks to ye, we have the final piece. That's why there's no sense to be killing you yet. Apple. I'm curious. After killing me, what was it you're planning on doing next? The moonlight shows us for what we really are. We are not among the living, and so we cannot die. But neither are we dead. For too long I've been parched of thirst and unable to quench it. Too long I've been starving to death and haven't died. I feel nothing, not the wind on my face, nor the spray of the sea. The warmth of a woman's flesh. You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
I consider that a man's brain originally is like a little empty attic, and you have to stock it with such furniture as you choose. A fool takes in all the lumber of every sort that he comes across, so that the knowledge which might be useful to him gets crowded out, or at best is jumbled up with a lot of other things, so that he has difficulty in laying his hands upon it. Now, the skillful workman is very careful indeed as to what he takes into his brain attic. He will have nothing but the tools which may help him in doing his work. But of these he has a large assortment, and all in the most perfect order. 'Tis a mistake to think that that little room has elastic walls and can distend to any extent. Depend upon it, there comes a time when for every addition of knowledge, you forget something that you knew before. It is of the highest importance, therefore, not to have useless facts elbowing out the useful ones.
Alright, okie dokie, how's everybody? Good. Now, as your father probably told you, my name is Matt Foley, and I am a motivational speaker. Now let's get me started by giving you a little bit of scenario of what my life is like. First off, I am 35 years old, I am divorced, and I live in a van down by the river. Now you kids are probably saying to yourself, now, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get the world by the tail and wrap it around and put it in my pocket. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably gonna find out as you go out there that you're not gonna amount to jack squat. You're gonna end up eating a steady diet of government cheese and living in a van down by the river. Now, young man, caveman Jack, what do you want to do with your life?
Halt, dwarf, said I. Either I or thou. I, however, am the stronger of the two. Thou knowest not mine abysmal fault. It couldst thou not endure. Then happened that which made me lighter, for the dwarf sprang from my shoulder. The prying sprite, and it squatted on a stone in front of me. There was, however, a gateway, just where we halted. Look at this gateway, dwarf, I continued. It hath two faces. Two roads come together there. These hath no one yet gone to the end of.
This long lane backwards, it continueth for an eternity. And that long lane forward, that is another eternity. They are antithetical to one another, these roads. They directly abut on one another, and it is here at this gateway that they come together. The name of the gateway is inscribed above this moment. But should one follow them further, and ever further and further on, thinkest thou, dwarf, that these roads would be eternally antithetical?
Everything straight lieth,
murmured the dwarf, contemptuously.
all truth is crooked, time itself is a circle.
Thou spirit of gravity, said I wrathfully, do not take it too lightly, or I shall let thee squat where thou squattest. Half-foot, hot-foot, and I carried thee high. Observe, continued I, this moment from the gateway, this moment, there runneth a long eternal lane backwards. Behind us lieth an eternity. Must not whatever can run its course of all things have already run along that lane? Must not whatever can happen of all things have already happened, resulted, and gone by? And if everything have already existed, what thinkest thou, dwarf, of this moment? Must not this gateway also have already existed? And are not all things closely bound together, in such wise that this moment draweth all coming things after it, consequently itself also? For whatever can run its course of all things, also in this long lane outward, must it once more run. And this slow spider which creepeth in the moonlight, and this moonlight itself, and thou and I in this gateway, whispering together, whispering of eternal things, must we not all have already existed? And must we not return and run in that other lane out before us, that long, weird lane, must we not eternally return? Thus did I speak, and always more softly, for I was afraid of mine own thoughts and arrear thoughts. Then, suddenly did I hear a dog howl near me. Had I ever heard a dog howl thus? My thoughts ran back. Yes, when I was a child, in my most distant childhood. Then did I hear a dog howl thus, and saw it also, with hair bristling, its head upwards, trembling in the stillest midnight, even when even dogs believe in ghosts. So that it excited my commiseration. For just when went the full moon, silent as death, over the house, just then did it stand still, a glowing globe at rest on the flat roof, as if on someone's property. Thereby had the dog been terrified, for dogs believe in thieves and ghosts. And when I again heard such howling, then did it excite my commiseration once more. Where was now the dwarf, and the gateway, and the spider, and all the whispering? Had I dreamt? Had I awakened? Twixt rugged rocks did I suddenly stand alone, dreary, in the dreariest moonlight. But there lay a man, and there, the dog leaping, bristling, whining. Now did it see me coming, and then did it howl again. Then did it cry. Had I ever heard a dog cry so for help? And verily what I saw, the like had I never seen. A young shepherd did I see, writhing, choking, quivering with distorted countenance, and with a heavy black serpent hanging out of his mouth. Had I ever seen so much loathing and pale horror on one countenance? He had perhaps gone to sleep. Then had the serpent crawled into his throat, there had it bitten itself fast. My hand pulled at the serpent and pulled in vain. I failed to pull the serpent out of his throat. Then there cried out of me, "Bite! Bite its head off, bite!" So cried it out of me, my horror, my hatred, my loathing, my pity.
All my good and my bad cried with one voice out of me, ye daring ones around me, ye venturers and adventurers, and whoever of you have embarked with cunning sails and unexplored seas, ye enigma enjoyers, solve unto me the enigma that I then beheld, interpret unto me the vision of the lonesomest one. For it was a vision and a foresight. What did I then behold in parable? And who is it that must come some day? Who is the shepherd into whose throat the serpent thus crawled? Who is the man into whose throat all the heaviest and blackest will thus crawl? The shepherd, however, bit. As my cry had admonished him, he bit with a strong bite. Far away did he spit the head of the serpent and sprang up. No longer shepherd, no longer man, a transfigured thing, a light-surrounded being that laughed. Never on earth laughed a man as he laughed. Oh, my brethren, I heard a laughter, which was no human laughter. And now gnaweth a thirst at me, a longing that is never allayed. My longing for that laughter gnaweth in me. Oh, how can I still endure to live, and how could I endure to die at present? Thus spake Zarathustra. Yes, yeah, if I didn't have you, if I didn't have you to hold me tight, if I didn't have you to lie with at night, if I didn't have you to share my sighs and to kiss me and dry my tears when I cry, well, I really think that I would have somebody else. If I didn't have you, someone else would do. Your love is 1 in a million. You couldn't buy it at any price. But of the 9.999,100,000 other possible loves, statistically, some of them would be equally nice. Or maybe not as nice, but say, smarter than you, or dumber, or better at sport, or fucking, tracing. I'm just saying, I really think that I would probably have somebody else. If I didn't have you, someone else would do. If I were a rich man, fiddle diddle diddle, diddle 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 dee, I guess I would be with a surgeon or a model, or a Raleigh of the Royals or a Kennedy, or a nymphomaniacal exhibitionist heiress to a large chain of hotels. If I were a rich man, maybe I would fiddle-dee-dee with the rich man girls. I'm not saying that I'd not love you if I was wealthy or handsome, but realistically, there's lots of fish in the sea, and if I had a different rod, I would conceivably learn some. Even though I am fiscally consistently pitiable and considerably less Brad Pitt than Brad Pitiful, am I really so poor and ugly that you think only you could possibly love me? And I really think that I would probably have somebody else. If I didn't have you, someone else would do. Look, I'm not undervaluing what we've got when I say that given the role chaos inevitably plays and the inherently flawed notion of fate, it's abstruse to deduce that I found my soulmate at the age of 17. It's just mathematically unlikely that at a university in Perth I happened to stumble up on the one girl on Earth specifically designed for me. And if I may conjecture a further objection, love has nothing to do with destined perfection. The connection is strengthened. The affection simply grows over time. Like a flower, or a mushroom, the guinea pig, or a vine, or a sponge, or bigotry, or banana. And love is made more powerful by the ongoing drama of shared experience and the synergy of a kind of symbiotic empathy or something. So I trust it would go without saying that I would feel really very sad if tomorrow you were to fall off something high or catch something bad, but I'm just saying I don't think you're special. I mean, I think you're special, but you fall within a bell curve.
I mean, I'm just saying, I really think that I would probably have somebody else. I think you are unique and beautiful. You make me happy just by being around. But objectively, you would have to agree that, baby, when I found you, options were relatively thin on the ground. You're lovely, but there must be girls as lovely as you, or maybe more open to banking? Table tennis. I'm just saying that I think I would probably have somebody else. I mean, I reckon it's pretty likely that if, for example, my first girlfriend, Jackie, hadn't dumped me after I kissed Winston's ex-girlfriend Nia at Steph's party back in 1993, enough variables probably would have been altered by the absence of that event to have meant the advent of a tangential narrative in which we don't meet. Which is to say, there exists a theoretical hypothetical parallel life where what is not as it is, and I am not your husband and you are not my wife. And I am a stuntman living in LA, married to a small blonde Portuguese skills. When she's not training, does abstract painting and practices yoga, brews her own beer, really likes making home movies, and suffers neck-down alopecia. But with all my heart and all my mind, I know one thing is true. I have just one life and just one love, and my love, that love is you. And if it wasn't for you, darling, I really think that I would possibly have somebody else if I didn't have you. If I didn't have you, someone else would surely do. Human behavior is economic behavior. The particulars may vary, but competition for limited resources remains a constant. Need, as well as greed, have followed us to the stars, and the rewards of wealth still await those wise enough to recognize this deep thrumming of our common pulse. Joyce Moser and Ann Waters' idea comes down to two key points. American identity is, in and of itself, ironic, and there is no such thing as a true American. The idea that Americanism and patriotism is only applicable to certain people groups or certain lifestyles could be completely wrong. The idea of America is that we all bring rich traditions, backstories, cultural significance with us, and we are all united as Americans. To truly understand American identities, we must understand how we are all different. To truly be unified. The idea is that American identity in and of itself is a contradiction, but we all understand the irony in it. We cannot find an actual true common ground if we are ignorant of each other's backgrounds and cultures. The American identity is all about celebrating our differences, while still being able to relate to one another because we are American. That being said, these authors clearly point out serious systemic issues that first need to be addressed before we can move forward. If we as Americans cannot come together and address these issues, we will never truly be the society we were intended to be.
What's up, kiddo? Your daddy says you're wearing a sad face. It ain't good to have a sad face. How'd you like a coloring book? Would you like that? Do you like Mickey Mouse? Son of a bitch. Come on, down to the car, and we'll all be friends, okay? You see me smile? Come on, let's see you smile like Aunt Trixie now. Come on down to the car with Mademoiselle. Kiddo, I understand how you feel, but you started to call me, you don't have to worry. One of these days you're gonna be just as pretty as Mademoiselle. Maybe prettier. You already got bone structure. When I was your age, I didn't have no bone structure. Took me years to get bone structure. And don't think bone structure is not important. Nobody started calling me Mademoiselle till I was 17 and getting a little bone structure. When I was your age, I was skinnier than a pole. I thought I'd never have nothing up here. You're gonna have them up there too. Look, I tell you what. Do you want me to show you how to use cosmetics? Look, I'll let you put in my earrings. You're gonna see how pretty you're gonna be, and I'll show you how to make up your eyes and your lips, and I'll see to it that you get like a little bra or something. Now you're gonna pick your little ass right up, you're gonna drop it in the back seat, and you're gonna cut the crap. You understand? You're gonna ruin it, ain't you? Look. I don't want to wipe you out, and I don't want you wiping me out, you know? So I'm gonna level with you. Okay? Now you see, with me, it's just a matter of time. I don't know why, but somehow I just don't manage to hold on real long. So if you wait it out a little, it'll be over, you know? I mean, even if I want a fella, I always manage to get it screwed up. Maybe I get a new pair of shoes, a nice dress, a few laughs. Times are hard. Now, if you fool around a little up on the hill here, then you don't get nothing. I don't get nothing. You don't get nothing. So how about it, honey? Just for a little while. Let old Trixie sit up front with her big tits.
Perhaps the greatest faculty our minds possess is the ability to cope with pain. Classic thinking teaches us of the 4 doors of the mind, which everyone moves through according to their need. First is the door of sleep.
Sleep offers us a retreat from the world and all its pain.
Sleep marks passing time, giving us distance from the things that have hurt us.
When a person is wounded, they will often fall unconscious. Similarly, someone who hears traumatic news will often swoon or faint.
This is the mind's way of protecting itself from pain by stepping through the first door. Second is the door of forgetting.
Some wounds are too deep to heal, or too deep to heal quickly. In addition,
many memories are simply painful, and there is no healing to be done. Saying time heals all wounds is false. Time heals most wounds. The rest they're hidden behind this door. Third is the door of madness. There are times when the mind is dealt such a blow, it hides itself in insanity. While this may not seem beneficial, it is. There are times when reality is nothing but pain.
And to escape that pain, the mind must leave reality behind. Last is the door of death.
The final resort. Nothing can hurt us after we are dead, or so we have been told.